So the topic of discussion is, should tipping be mandatory? Me personally, I feel like yes, tipping should be mandatory. I mean, no doubts about it. Like I pull up an article with Times, and an article did state that some people are making $2.13 an hour, which is nothing. And nowadays they're asking for 3 times the rent. That's not even nearly 20% of half that. It was also said that basically, if they don't make the tips, because you have to report your tips at the end of the shift, that the employer wouldn't pay them minimum wage. But it was like 8.6 billion, I believe, or 8 billion, where it was violations of in what's wages that needed to be owed. So technically, even though they weren't making the tips, the employer weren't holding up their end of the bargain by paying them what they needed to pay them, and they were just basically asked out. I didn't know about this until I read the article, so just imagine how many other people didn't know about this as well. Also, it's solely about racism still, like different sex serving their customers. That still plays a part in the tip. Not really only that, but some people might tend to go to work with a chip on their shoulder. So they always say, when you go to work, leave your problems outside the door. But that can be hard because maybe they're overwhelmed from yesterday's workload, or maybe it's something in the family that happened. Could be a death or someone's sick, and they still have to come to work to make the money because they're the sole provider. And then that person that they're waiting tables, and the customer they don't know what's going on because, again, a closed mouth never gets fed. So they're just, there to enjoy their time. And they might be like, oh, well, she's have an attitude of, oh, she didn't tend to fast enough. Oh, the silverware is dirty. We're not going to tip her. Not knowing that 85% of the time, that might be that person's only job. They could be in school, or they like waitressing because they make good tips, and they might have just had a bad day but really need the money, and then they don't make anything. And even if they were to report it to their employer, it's not like they're going to get that minimum wage because, again, it's like 8 billion of unreported violations. So just imagine what else they're not reporting, or how it's affecting the waiter. So I feel like yes, tips should be mandatory, because $2.13, that's not enough to make it, and you never know what someone's going through. So I mean, a 20%, like nowadays they're asking on a receipt, even according to the article, they're asking for at least 20% of a tip, 15 to 20%. And that's not really much, like, I just feel like, yeah, it should be mandatory. It should, like in some states it is mandatory, and it is included in the bill. And I feel like Louisiana should be one of the states where it should be included in the bill. If you don't like it, then stay home.